the healthcare policy and law presentations. Good evening, everyone. My name is Elisa Verdi. I am a student at Colorado Christian University. Today we're going over to the contents of my presentations. We're going to discuss about the role of policy and law in healthcare and public health, the federal policy making structure, the structure policy options, the three large topical domains, the historical term based on the three different perspectives, the stakeholders, and the biblical worldview also going to discuss in these presentations. So let's go over to what is the purpose of the healthcare policy and law. So the purpose is to provide standardization in daily operational activities, which is very essential in providing clarity when dealing with issues that are critical to health and safety, legal liabilities, and regulations. The role of policy and law in public health is no less important than in individual healthcare, but their influence in the field of public health is frequently less visible and articulated. In fact, policy and law have long played a seminal role in everyday public health activities. So, what included in policy is a law, regulations, procedure, administrative action, incentive, and voluntary practice of governments and other institutions. Healthcare can be influenced by many policy in many different sectors. So policy decisions are frequently reflected in resource allocations. So let's go over to the first slide, which is the role of policy and law in healthcare and public health. The role of policy and law in public health have long played a seminal role in everyday public entities such as public issues such as the employment issues, the taxes, the health discriminations and disparities, health insurance, biotechnology issues, and many more. So, what is the federal policymaking structure? There are three branches that has to do with the policymaking structure. The first branch is legislative branch, which is state representative and senator. They formulate the policy. And then the executive branch, which is the president, approves or vetoes the legislation. The last branch is judicial branch, which is interprets the policy. What is the options of the structuring policy? Some policy can be mandatory, voluntary, action, and inaction. The shape of a policymaker also has to go through the health bureaucracy agency, which is federal government, which is dealing with the Department of Human Services, Veteran Affairs, and Defense. And the second agency is state and local governments, which is state level agency, local public health agency, and the last agency is the interest group. This group focuses on a particular issue, which their goal is to influence or educate policymaker and general public. Now, what is the conceptual of healthcare policy and law? There are three conceptual frameworks under the umbrella of health policy and law. The first concept is the broad topical domains of health policy and law, the prevailing historical factors, and the key holders. One way to conceptualize health policy and law is as consisting of three large topical domains: the policy and law concerned in the area of healthcare, the issue arising in a public health arena, and the controversy in a field of bioethics. Now, the second way to consider health policy and law is in historical terms based on three different perspectives. The first one is professional autonomy perspective, social contract perspective, free market perspective, and free market perspective. And then the last one is the stakeholders. The third way to conceptualize health policy and law issue is in a term of the stakeholders. They are the individuals, the public, the healthcare professional, employers, and healthcare industry such as pharmaceutical company, healthcare company. They are the stakeholders whose interests are impacted by certain policy choices. Now, what does the Bible say about the healthcare policy and law? The scripture conveys to Christians on how to interact with government, which is also applies to every person. So Paul very clear stated that we need to submit to government authorities. He stated in Romans 13:1, he said that every authority in the world was established by God. This would include, of course, good leaders, evil leaders, and everyone in between. Paul's instruction here then is not about blind nationalism or absolute obedience to man. Rather, it is recognition that human government in general is legitimate authority and that Christians cannot use their faith as an excuse for civil lawlessness. God puts all leaders in place for specific reasons. So in conclusion, the healthcare policy and law are essential in providing clarity when dealing with issues that is critical to health and safety, legal liabilities, and regulations. The public policy making structure refers to various branches of government, the individuals and the entities within each branch that play a role in making and implementing policy decisions. Thank you for viewing my presentations, and everybody have a wonderful evening.